Good afternoon, this is Jim Williams with the Hurricane City Tropical Update for June 20th. We now have newly formed Tropical Storm Cindy in the northern Gulf of Mexico. Here is the official forecast cone from the National Hurricane Center showing landfall right at the Texas-Louisiana border, but that's not really what's important because all of the rain is out east of the center of circulation. And in fact, you'll notice that the current featured city at Hurricane City is Intracoastal City, Louisiana, very small town on the central coastline of Louisiana. But all the rain is going to be east of the center out in this area here. So Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, even the Florida Panhandle is going to get in on a lot of this rain that's going to come in on the right front quadrant of Tropical Storm Cindy. Now, again, this is going to be making landfall in the evening tomorrow night, so it's going to be a nighttime system. Not a lot of chance to get out and really see what's going on. You're going to be pretty much in the dark. There will be some sporadic power outages, but this is mainly going to be a rain event. But the closer you get to where the center of circulation is over in here, the stronger the winds are going to be, probably 50 to 60 mile an hour gusts. The further away you get out in this area, probably more like 30 to 40 miles per hour as these rain bands come in off of the Gulf of Mexico. So while I have the GIS map open, let me zoom in on this and show you some of the neat things that this map is able to do. For example, the more you zoom in, it gives you the population center. So let's go near the current featured city of Intracoastal City, Louisiana, and pick out one of these small towns, for example, population 11,963 up in Abbeville, and over here near St. Mary's, about 7,000 population, so much less populated areas to the right of where the center of circulation is supposed to make landfall compared to over here in southeast Louisiana where you have huge numbers. I mean, if you go into New Orleans here, you're talking, well, these are each small parishes, so they all amount to a much larger population over here in eastern Louisiana. All right, let's take a look at our other system real quickly before we talk more about Tropical Storm Cindy. We have Bret out here in the Caribbean, and the system became a tropical storm yesterday as it moved into Trinidad, or right before it made landfall in Trinidad, and that was as a 40-mile-per-hour system. There is the band of tropical storm force winds as they affected Trinidad and brushed Grenada in the southeastern Windward Islands. And now you'll see that the system is forecast to pass very close to the ABC Islands, Aruba, Bonaire, and Curaçao, and this should be as a 40-mile-an-hour tropical storm. An interesting note, that the ABC Islands don't get hit that often by tropical storms. In fact, it's about once every 7 years on average a named storm will come through the islands, and for hurricanes it's even more rare. About once every 25 to 30 years they get a hurricane down there. Passing very near the islands, but this is going to pass pretty close, or if not over the islands, and that happens about once every 7 years. So let's take a look at the close-up visible loop from NOAA of Tropical Storm Bret, and you can see the center of circulation right just west of this ball of convection, and you can see that the center is right there. Right where that red circle is where the center of circulation is, and it is cruising toward the ABC Islands. Now, the National Hurricane Center says this will not dissipate for another 36 to 48 hours, so this will most likely be a tropical storm when it passes through the ABC Islands. But there is southerly wind shear in the Caribbean right now, so that wind shear is going to take its toll on this system, and it is expected to degenerate into a tropical depression and then eventually a tropical wave in the next 48 hours. So basically it's been a rain event down there. They've had about 4 to 6 inches of rain and some gusty. There's been a little bit of damage from wind, by the way, as well. They've had some roof damage, minor roof damage, trees down, and a lot of flooding in this whole area down around the northern coast of In fact, this whole area is going to be dealing with a lot of flooding and some tree limbs down, power outages and whatnot, but not anything major like it would have been if a hurricane passed through there. And now let's take a look at the other close-up view of Tropical Storm Cindy, and you can clearly see the center on this shot. There's no debating where the center is, and that is right there. Almost spit it out like a wet watermelon seed right there, right in the middle of that, basically just south of the blob of convection. You see all the rain out in here, and there's our tiny center of circulation, and it looks like it's not moving very much over the past couple of hours. But the overall motion of this system is, again, off in this direction here, and this is eventually going to make landfall tomorrow night, again, in western Louisiana. But a lot of that rain, that whole red area over in here, is all rainfall, and that's going to be moving up into the Florida Panhandle, Mississippi, Alabama, and Louisiana. Okay, let's take a look at the rainfall projections from the National Hurricane Center, and you can see here that they released this morning, and they're talking about upwards of 10 inches of rain in Alabama and Mississippi. I think this is going to shift a little bit further west because at this time they were projecting landfall closer to the current featured city, which is Intracoastal City, Louisiana. But now the projected track is more towards Texas. So I think this heavy rain shield might shift a little bit towards New Orleans. I think the worst impacted areas from all this, when it's all said and done, is probably going to be around southeast Louisiana and into Mississippi, where the most of the heavy rain bands are going to come in off the Gulf of Mexico on the right quadrant of Tropical Storm Cindy. Now here's the latest cam shot from southwest Louisiana. This is from the Cameron area, and this is the tower cam, the sky cam from the Channel 7 NBC affiliate, and you can see facing south into the Gulf of Mexico. It's getting really choppy down there, and the winds are blowing pretty good, probably around 20-25 miles an hour right now, and that'll be increasing going into tomorrow and tomorrow evening. And this live camera shot times out about every couple of minutes, but you can find this camera by clicking the little red dot over Louisiana on the main Hurricane City tracking map and then choosing from Cameron, Louisiana observations, and you'll get the menu with the camera options that allows you to see this camera. There's also some cameras in our current feature, Intracoastal City, Louisiana, but they're more static images. There's no live video shots from there. All right, one more thing I want to show you, and that is the buoys and the buoy and oil rig data out here in the Gulf of Mexico right now. There's some pretty impressive wind gusts. For example, we have a 28-knot northeast wind gusting to 47 on this oil rig here, just south of Intracoastal City, Louisiana. And here we have 26 knots, getting a little closer to there. And then we have right on shore 24 knot winds. And that's probably what you were seeing on that camera shot. In fact, let's go over here to where Cameron is, and we had, gust of 22. And then further out where the would-be center is down in here, let's see, we got this buoy. Out here we have south-southeast at 21, gusting to 27. And over in here we have north winds at 21, gusting to 27. So right here we have the western center of circulation. Over here we have the winds out of the south on the east side. So it's not a real powerful system right now, but when this moves in, it'll probably be around 45, 50 miles per hour, and a lot of people experience wind gusts around 40 to 50 miles per hour as this makes landfall tomorrow night. Anyway, that's it for now. I won't be doing any more updates on either of these systems, as by tomorrow evening they'll both be onshore. The next name on the list is Don. Will it be a hurricane? We'll have to see about that. That'll be a fun one. And we'll see what happens with that. There is some activity out there to keep an eye on, so if anything pops up, I'll be back with more updates. Thank you for watching. I'm Jim Williams.